one thing you'll find out about leaders is that they take accountability for literally everything in their lives. One thing I notice, especially for young men, is the need to place blame or to explain and have an excuse or an explanation for why they are the way they are, why they have the lack in their lives, why they have the challenges and the problems in their lives. Too much blame game, too much misplaced blame. Again, the top achievers, the top performers, the most high performing people, most successful, the most admirable, notable people that you will ever come across take responsibility for everything. Even when, by all appearances, there's no reason to. There is literally someone else to blame in a situation. You won't hear a top performing person place blame on anybody but themselves. Just not too long ago, there was a time when I got hit by a driver, a distracted driver who hit me from behind. And of course they were at fault. But in my mind, and I'm just telling you how I think, I view myself as a high performer, progressively, just on a progressive path, right? Self-development. In my mind, they were at fault, but in my mind, I blame myself because I let my guard down. Normally at a red light, I'm always looking in my mirrors, looking everywhere, and looking behind me, right? This particular case, in this one instance that I let my guard down, where I was just, sitting at the light. It was early in the morning. I was just sitting at the light, just kind of just chilling. Boom, bam. I never let my guard down. I'm always diligent about looking because I don't trust people to do what they're supposed to do. I trust me to be proactive and be ready. So I blame myself for that to happen. I could have very well been, if I had been diligent in my normal practice of checking my mirrors, looking behind me, being aware of my surroundings at all times, that would not have happened. I would have seen that man barreling towards me with no regard for the light, and I would have moved myself. I would have braced myself. I would have moved out the way. But I didn't. And I paid the consequences. Thankfully, I'm here to talk about it. But that's just one example of me taking accountability. That's just how my mind works. I took my accountability, my part that I played in that accident. I should have moved out the way. Even though I was at the red light, I should have seen it coming. That's just an example of how I think. You have individuals who will blame everyone but themselves for their shortcomings, for their deficiencies. And they may have legitimate reasons for that. But there's always a deeper dive that you can take. There's always a different perspective that you can take that's way more helpful and is way more beneficial to your progress and to your goals when you own your accountability. You own your part in your destiny. That is both the most challenging, one of the most challenging, but also the most liberating realizations that anybody can come to, that you are in complete control over your life. You're in control of how you react, you're in control of your attitude and your approach to whatever circumstances that you're in. You can't control everything, but you can definitely control how you perceive the situation. And that is the foundation, will lay the seeds for you solving problems, coming up with solutions to get yourself out of said situation, or to overcome said situation, or to put a In some cases, it may be trauma based. It may be something that is holding you back in your mind. Taking on a different perspective of ownership and accountability for the part that you play, even if it's just how you interpret the situation in your mind, that will lay the seeds for victory, and wherever that looks like for you. And that's the ultimate. That's the ultimate. One of the ultimate behaviors and mindsets of success. Just taking full accountability. And when you turn your mind from negative to positive, all the solutions will start to come to you. You'll start to magnetize the right situations, the right people. You literally start to magnetize the right situations and the right people to you. And you're no longer a victim. I know for me, I don't want to delegate control over my life to anybody. And that's basically what you do when you say, well, they did this to me, so I did this. One of the biggest lessons that I have to teach my kids, especially my two youngest daughters, because they're so close in age. They're so close, and when two siblings are very close, it's a thin line. They'll love each other, but then they'll fight. And one thing I have to teach one of my daughters is because she has a certain personality, a certain spirit about her. And one thing I'm constantly drilling, and I won't let up. That's my baby. It's a lesson that she has to learn, that she hasn't learned, and she's going to learn, because I'm going to continue to drill it on her. I'm not going to drill it in her. I'm not going to let up. But one thing that she has to learn is that she has to take accountability for her actions. One thing she'll always say, because anger can be an issue, and kids hit each other. We keep our hands to ourselves, especially with our siblings, right? One thing she'll say, because she has anger issues, one thing she'll say is, well, she did this to me. She made me mad. She made me hit her. And I have to emphasize, reiterate that nobody can make you do anything. And I emphasize to her, that gives her power over you. And when you frame it that way, that can be a trigger to someone, that can be a spark to someone to say, hey, I don't want someone having power over me. No, I want power over myself. So there's nothing you can do to provoke me at this point in my life. And I say that to emphasize and illustrate my own journey, because I was once a very angry child. And part of my motivation, of course, was to not get in trouble. Part of my motivation was to not look silly, because I don't like not having control, and quite frankly, losing control and lashing out and having anger. Sometimes it just looks dumb. It looks silly, and I don't want that, And part of it is losing control and delegating that control to someone else. Basically, they have power over you. They have power over your emotions, and that's never good. That puts you in the position of a puppet, of a servant to someone else. When we don't have to give up that power over ourselves. So accountability. That's the lesson for it. Accountability in all areas of life is what's really going to set you free.